This isn't something that's like legally binding like the Rockefellers or the Rothschild families or anything like that. They had legally binding partnerships and governance agreements. Hi my loves, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time seeing my face, hi, my name is Laura Chanel, and if you are a returning subscriber, what's poppin' twin? Be sure to hit the subscription button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads that I put on my channel. Now, as you can tell by the title of today's video, we are going to be talking about personal or family constitutions. Have you ever heard of the old saying about money, shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations? So I recently came across this phrase and I was trying to figure out what it meant. So of course I did a little bit of research to see what it was about. And basically shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations means, in a nutshell, this phrase means that the first generation builds the wealth, the second generation enjoys the wealth, and the third generation basically puts the family back to where they started, which is being broke. So there's a well-known 20-year study by the Williams Group, I believe, where they studied more than 3,200 families. And according to this study, it exposed the fact that 70% of families lose their generational wealth by the second generation and 90% lose it by the third generation. So here's the crazy thing about what I read. When they looked at why families were losing generational wealth at such alarming rates, they discovered that it wasn't because the market was crashing, it wasn't because of taxes, and it wasn't really because of bad investments. It was literally the family itself. It was the lack of communication, the broken communication, and not preparing their heirs to receive the inheritance and like what to do with it. So the fact that it actually stemmed from heirs not really being prepared to accept their inheritance and know what to do with their inheritance, that kind of stuck with me. Like, it makes sense, but isn't that crazy? Like, I can see that happening because, to be quite honest, my parents never discussed money or wealth with me. I knew about the money we didn't have. I knew about the bills that we had to pay, but not once did the topic of trusts, wills, capital, budgets, stocks, assets, or anything leaning into the realm of finance was like talked about in the house. So when I learned about like banking and credit, like I was well into my adult years. And up until about 5 years ago, I really didn't have financial literacy. I actually learned a lot about financial literacy and was introduced to a lot of things through my financial partner, Debbie. And I will put her information below just in case you guys want to, reach out to her to learn about like life insurances and get you connected with someone who can set up like a trust and all that jazz. And I will link that information below in a description box just in case you're interested. Okay, so the fact that it's not a money problem and it's a preparation problem means that there has to be some sort of plan, in my opinion, laid out for the family. So to me, this doesn't necessarily mean that families are lacking better financial advisors, but rather they are lacking a type of strategy to pass down their values deliberately and intentionally in the same way that they intend to pass down their money. So since I am building generational wealth, I feel like the best way for me to implement this is with a family constitution. Now, you can make a personal constitution, you can make a family constitution, it doesn't matter, but I have both. But today I'm going to be sharing with you the aspect of a family constitution. So hopefully this video will give you an idea of what to put in the constitution. Please keep in mind that a constitution, even if it's signed, is not going to like stop people from doing whatever it is that they want to do, but to, I guess, have a little bit of a grip or control over like inheritances and money and things of that nature. You should probably, and please make sure you consult with a professional, because I am not a professional. I don't want nobody coming for me, but make sure you consult with a professional because you may want to pair it or have it written into a will and trust. That way, I think you have a better shot at making sure that the wealth isn't depleted across generations, but rather it is expanded and it grows across generations. So what exactly is a family constitution? So a family constitution is a written, non-binding framework that outlines the family's shared values, their mission, and the rules for making decisions. It helps to guide family members, manage businesses and shared wealth, and on top of that, prevent future arguments. Now, here's the thing. Notice it says non-binding. So you remember when I just said you can't control what people do? So again, to sort of get a grip on this and sort of have control over, you want to implement these values and such into a will and trust so that it sort of has this link to how the inheritance is distributed. It is not a legal document, but you can think of it like the family's philosophy. I just wanted to point that out because like I said, I don't want anybody coming for me in the comments. Okay, make sure y'all consult with a professional about these things. Now, some families call this a family charter or a family creed. Now, most of the time, family constitutions have two parts. You're going to have the why and you're going to have the how. The why is going to be your preamble. And I know this sounds a little crazy, but just stay with me on this, okay? So the first thing I did was write a preamble. A preamble is a short opening statement of the Constitution's purpose. So basically, it's the soul of the document. It's the why. Why does it exist and what is it trying to protect? Then you have your articles that explain the how. These are the specific principles covering the areas that matter to you most. So money, work, health, character, how decisions get made. It's like part mission statement, part rule book, part letter to future generations. So unlike a will, this document isn't really about who gets what. It's truly about what the family or who the family is going to be. This isn't something that's like legally binding like the Rockefellers or the Rothschild families or anything like that. They had legally binding partnerships and governance agreements. Like that's not what this is. But now if that's something that you want to put in place and you want to accomplish, again, please do your research and reach out to a professional about it. What I'm breaking down is the framework that basically outlines the values and standards that govern how the family should function. A lot of people hold inheritances like real heavy on assets, so like houses, accounts, businesses, things of that sort. But you can pass all of these things down to a family of fools, and at the end of it all, they have completely destroyed everything, and now your wealth has been depleted and it's gone. So because of that, I think it's crucial to pass down the mindset that's needed to carry on the generational wealth and to grow it so that it will be expanded beyond your years on this earth. So you remember that video I did about discernment? Yeah, you have to teach that. Here's my thing. If you do not teach these things, then that means you're taking a gamble with all of the things that you have endured to build this generational wealth. And you're passing this along to unaware and uneducated family members, and you are leaving them to just wing it and figure it all out on their own. And here's the thing. Studies show that most kids in generations to come are not going to be able to figure that out. So having a family constitution is how you make those teachings deliberate and intentional. So don't sit up there like, oh, I hope my values and my standards survive long after I'm gone. You want something in writing that tells what the family believes, how they will govern themselves, the values that must be passed down, taught, acknowledged, and signed by every generation thereafter as they come of age. So behind the scenes, this gives your family shared language, right? So when there's a big disagreement about money or a decision to be made, no one is starting from scratch every time. You have a document set in place that everyone has to agree to. Think of it like a reference guide. All right, so let me walk you through my constitution. All right, so I'm going to read off my preamble. Again, feel free to pull from mine and use it to create your own. I can't tell you what to put in your preamble. This is entirely up to you. I'll do another video about my personal constitution, but as of now, let me just read you the preamble of my family constitution that I created. So it says, this constitution is written for my child or children. And the reason why I put child or children is because I don't know, later on I may want to adopt a child. But as of right now, it's just going to be my son. So the Constitution is written for my child or children and for theirs, for those who will carry our name along after I'm gone. This applies to all members of my direct descent and lineage, beginning with, and then I listed my son's name, born an only son on, and then I listed his date of birth. Now, the reason why I did this, and this is probably just like a precaution on my end, because I don't want nobody trying to come behind my son talking about, oh yeah, that's my mama and this is and the third. Like, nah, I only had one child. This is his name. This is when he was born, and that's it. Because people kind of wild out there. So just wanted to say that. Okay, so this applies to all members of my direct descent and lineage, beginning with my son's name, born an only son on, and then I list his date of birth. This is written because the things that endure across generations do not endure by accident. Fortunes are easily made and as easily lost. What is harder and far more valuable is to pass down the character, discipline, and judgment that created them. So that means all of the hard work that I've put into building this generational wealth. We're not about to play games with just being all crazy and willy-nilly with it after I didn't put all of this time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears and made the sacrifices to build this wealth. You get what I'm saying? I do not regard our wealth as something that is owned. I regard it as something held in trust, built by me, and I put my name, stewarded by me, and meant to be handed forward intact and improved. Because I'm not playing games, not depleted. Okay. Money is the least of what I hope to transmit. Above it, I place our name, our standards, and the conviction that to whom much is given, much is expected. Because we ain't going to be having people just up here, spending the money and throwing the money away. You have responsibilities with this money. You get what I'm saying? You have responsibilities with this knowledge. You have responsibilities with these standards and these values and these principles that I have created for the family to follow. Moving right along. Let this Constitution stand as the agreement between the generations, that each in turn shall receive much, honor it, grow it, and pass it on. The baseline of acceptable standards are to be upheld by all born from my lineage. That is basically the preamble for my family constitution. I'm going to read off what the articles are that I have in there, because right after the preamble, I did list the articles. Now, I can't tell you what articles to put in your family constitution. I can't tell you how to write your articles or what to include or exclude. I can't tell you any of that, but I'll just read off the articles that I have in there, and then I'll give you a tidbit of what I'll put at the end. And this is just something that I prefer to have in my family constitution. Again, feel free to rewind, borrow some of what I've made and include it in yours. So here are the articles that I have in my family constitution. Number 1, stewardship. Number 2, work and contribution, money and capital, health, education and creativity, character and the family name, philanthropy, governance, and then I put a note or like a letter to future generations. Now, me personally, I did add a section at the end about amendments and continuity. And the reason I did this is because although I want the core principles and values to remain in line with what I teach, but I want it to be improved upon without breaking those core values and principles. The preamble is not a set of rules. It's just basically your set of values. That is something that you definitely need to get clear on. And a good way to figure out what your values are is to ask yourself, if my family is still thriving after 100 years, what are the things that we refuse to compromise on? Then you could just write those down. And then from there, you can develop the rest of your constitution. Please make sure you keep the preamble short. You know what I'm saying? This isn't, 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth in this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created. Or what is it? I forgot what the preamble is. Oh, shoot. 7, I don't even remember. Let's see. No, the other one was the Gettysburg Address. It's crazy how I remember all that stuff. So just make sure you keep your preamble short, because this is basically the why of the document. After that, you can start writing your articles. In a description box, you will find the list of articles that I included in my Constitution. Whatever those values are, whatever those things are that matter to you and your family the most, those are going to be the articles. 2 to 3 sentences. You could probably do 4. Like, that's plenty enough. They can be aspirational, but please make sure you are specific. Now, this is going to be something that I know a lot of people will probably like push back on, not against me, but like I know a lot of people will push back on it. You have to bring your family in. It's a little different from me because it's just me and my son, right? There's nobody else. It's just me and him. Like, I don't have a spouse. He doesn't have siblings or anything. So literally it is starting with me, and I'm passing it down to my son, and then my son is going to pass it down to his kids, so on and so forth. So you have to bring family in there, but don't get it twisted. Just because a child is young doesn't mean they don't have like a say-so or any type of input in what goes into the family constitution, because they do. Just because they're young doesn't mean that they're stupid. Okay, kids know. Just to point that out, these kids be knowing. So here's the thing. You don't want to write a constitution at your family. You want to write the constitution with your family for your family. You want to get them involved in it, because now they all feel like they have contributed something to, you know, this document that's going to govern how the family presents themselves and how they make decisions and, you know, things like that. And because they were involved in the creation of this document, they are more likely to honor this document. Okay, now this is just something that I prefer to do. Print it on fancy paper, or you can get like some nice linen paper or something like that, but make it fancy, make it official, print it out, have everyone sign it. Everyone who's of age, have them sign it. And the of age can be whatever you want. If the child is like 10, then, and that's you know, the of age range for you, then go ahead and have the child sign it. And something that you could do, which I'm going to do, my son is not old enough yet according to what the age range is for me, but you can turn this into like a family ritual. So when the child comes of age or whatever, you know, you can do like a little bit of a celebration, and they can sign the Constitution, like acknowledging that these are the values that the family is going to carry, X, Y, and Z. So you can turn this into like a family event, a family ritual, a family routine. This is like a goal that everyone has reached. So this could be by the 10th birthday or the 13th birthday or 16, or whatever range you feel is, you know, optimal for you and your family. Then you can use that as like a milestone for the child. I don't know. I just feel like doing something like that holds power. You know what I mean? I can't say this enough. A family constitution is not a legally binding force. It cannot override a will. It can't move money, and the courts cannot enforce it. I want to be very clear on that, because again, I don't want nobody trying to come for me, okay? Also, getting it notarized is not going to make it enforceable. Getting it notarized is just saying you are who you say you are and you signed it. That's it. It doesn't give the document any legal power. So if you're thinking, okay, well, if the family constitution can't move money, like what does? What actually transfers the wealth? Those will be your trusts, your wills, your estate planning. Those are the legal instruments. And the reason why I'm saying it is because like the rules are different in each state. Don't say I never told y'all that, okay? Mark my words, y'all hear it in this video. Please get a licensed estate attorney to draft these things up for you. So the next thing is, how do you get your family involved with as little fuss as possible? Signing the Constitution is the easy part. Like everybody can just, you know, read it, be like, oh, okay, cool, but they really never have the intention of like following through, but they could just sign it and just be like, all right, cool. So the real work is what you do for the other 364 days of the year. I feel like there has to be some sort of activity, because the thing is, if you don't talk about it and there's like silence about the Constitution, like then no one's going to remember it. No one's going to be talking about it. And it's just going to kind of be dead in the water. Now, I've seen some posts circulating on social media where people are like showing how they have family meetings. And these family meetings can be about anything, but mainly it's about like finances and wealth and, you know, partnerships and businesses, accounts and all of that jazz. So here's what I would do. I would have regular family meetings. And these meetings can be about money. These meetings can be about teaching your kids certain things after they, reach a certain age. Like, you can include those things in the meetings. For instance, number one, actually hold the meeting. Like, just actually hold a family meeting. And please don't do this, when it's like Thanksgiving, Christmas, or at a graduation party or whatever. Like, actually make this separate so that it can have its own time and its own space. This can be like something completely separate from the other gatherings that the family may have. If you want, you could do it twice a year, or if you want to do something like in quarters where you do like Q1, 2, 3, and 4, you can try doing that. That way, everyone has something to say. Everyone has something to contribute. This also keeps the meeting special. It's like an event that everyone is looking forward to going to. And on top of that, they understand the importance of attending these meetings. So again, keep it separate, let it hold its own space and its own time. Now, here's the thing, just because it's a family meeting doesn't mean you can't take it seriously, or you shouldn't take it seriously. So I would suggest running an agenda. One of the things that you can do, like when you first, open up the meeting, you can open the floor with the wins. So this could be like family highlights, good news, achievements, things like that. That way you set the tone for everything else that follows. The meeting should have like a positive vibe. It should be welcoming, and it lets everyone know that it's okay to share your good news, because a lot of times family members will share news and then other people will be like, that ain't nothing, blah, blah, blah. Well, it might be news for them. It might be something big to them. So when they share it, everyone should be supportive. Then you bring in the why. Talk about the core values, talk about the principles, talk about your standards. This is before you touch any of the numbers, any of the articles, before you look at any reports. It's like establishing ground rules so everyone understands why they're there. And then the remaining 10 to 15 minutes of the meeting should be, an open floor for like questions or healthy pushbacks. That way everyone understands that their concerns are heard and understood. Now, here's the thing, to keep the meetings safe, right, so that people will want to come to these meetings, you have to establish some ground rules, right? So here are a couple of ground rules I feel like you should hold when it comes to these meetings. Number one, every person gets a real voice, and the age should not matter. So kids get to speak as well. Number two, this is not a place for egos, okay? Leave that at the door. This is about stewardship together and not who's in control, okay? Number three, you want to keep track of the meetings. Have someone take minutes, or you can use some type of tool to record the meetings, right? Every meeting, have someone else take the minutes so that people learn how to lead the room. And if you want to get a little fancy, you could probably get like a nice notebook or something like that so everyone can write down notes or goals or things they want to discuss or bring up, X, Y, and Z. Maybe you want to have like a family email, but this is like, make it your own. Make this yours. Make this, tailored to you and your family. All right, so I want to wrap up this video with maybe a few ways or milestones you can have for your kids. Now, my son is under the age of 10, so some people are like, oh, well, you don't even have a child that's old enough to do X, Y, Z, but this is just something that I have planned out for my son, okay? So my thing is, with the family constitution, I want to pass down the mindset that is needed for my son to improve and grow and carry on the family wealth, the generational wealth for generations to come, right? So I need to pass along that mindset. Therefore, I need to teach him certain things. So here are my recommendations. Between the ages of 5 and 10, you can keep things physical and simple. You can have like 3 jars so that they can like visually see, the money. They can see how the money is growing. They can see how the money is depleting, all of that jazz. So you can have 3 jars, one for saving, one for spending, and one for giving. This way, it'll teach them about delayed gratification. For instance, if your child or whatever child wants to buy a toy, you can, and they have the money in the jar, you can have them wait a week. And if After that week, they still want the toy, cool, that's fine. They can go ahead and get it. But again, this teaches them delayed gratification, because we all know what happens when you have the money and you immediately spend it. And then next thing you know, maybe you need the money, or you see something that's far better than what it is that you got. And now you want that and you can't get it because you didn't already spent the money. And don't sit up there and be like, oh, well, I could just return it. It's nothing. Okay. So let's just say the child is between the ages of 11 and 14. I think this is where real world concepts come into play. At this point, you can probably set them up with a bank account with an attached debit card. You can even match their savings dollar for dollar if they have like a goal that they're trying to reach, like a really important goal that they're trying to reach, right? So at this point, I feel like it's a good idea to get the child hooked on saving, almost like a 401k. And this could be a good way to teach your children about investing. Like once my son gets between the ages of 15 and 18, I think it's time to like dive into more advanced knowledge, right? So now it's time to teach them about credit, how interest rates and credit scores work. Here's my thing. If we don't teach them, then the world is going to teach them. And the way the world is going to teach them is going to be the hard way. So if I'm not mistaken, you can open up like a custodial brokerage account and you can have them start practicing on like fractional shares, right? And this is with real companies. Now, at this point, I'm quite sure, the child would have started working, like they probably had like a summer job of some sort. This is a good time that when they get their first paycheck, y'all could sit down and read the pay stub. Show them what gross is versus net. Tell them about taxes. Introduce them to retirement. This is a good way to have your kids practicing, so when the time comes and these things come up, they're already, loaded with some type of experience, right? So basically, in a nutshell, the purpose of a family constitution is not just to sound important. It's about deciding on purpose who your family is going to be and giving the people who come after you something to stand on. Now, here's the thing. You don't need to be wealthy to have one of these. Most of us are just out here like winging it and learning the hard way. So I just wanted to at least share this information, in hopes that it will make things just a little bit easier, just to give you a little bit of enlightenment. Okay. You don't have to have all this wealth. You just need to care about what you're passing down. So I think that is it for today's video. If this was useful, please make sure you drop a comment and let me know. Be sure to hit the subscription button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads that I put on my channel. Make sure to follow me across all of my social media accounts. I will have all of that listed below in the description box. Please make sure you visit my website, theintentionalarchitect.com. Sign up for the mailing list so that you can get your free copies of the identity audit. And yeah, I think that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.